I was in a pretty sad state of life when I filmed I Love My Child, but I Don't Love Being a Mom. And I just wanted to come forth and be honest about what was going on because I put myself out here every week. I didn't want to pretend like everything was fine when it wasn't. There's some details I didn't want to get into, but I just wanted to share like where I was at with motherhood. And I haven't watched this video in a year. I reacted to it a year ago and lots has changed. So I filmed this video when we were newly moved in to this house. It was a very stressful time renovation wise. Rook had just turned 1 a couple months prior to this, and that rocked my world because he was getting into everything. The house wasn't baby safe, nor was it going to be baby safe for a long time. And I had such an easy time in the baby stage that it just felt like I completely lost myself in this stage of motherhood, and it felt never ending. So that was that, and I am going to react to it. And then a year later, I reacted to it, and that was when I was pregnant with my second child and having a really hard time coping with that. And I don't even remember how I reacted to that video. You can watch it if you want. But right now I'm in a really good stage of life. So I think it'll be interesting to see how my thoughts have changed about motherhood since making this video. I now have 2 children, 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So yeah, but before I react to the video, I do want to thank today's sponsor, who is Branch Basics. Branch Basics makes high quality cleaning products that are good for your home and the people living in it. They're non-toxic, fragrance-free, and safe around babies, which is really important to me, as you can probably guess. But my favorite thing about Branch Basics is that they are a 1 concentrate model. This means that from 1 bottle of concentrate, you make nearly all the cleaning products in your house. From the concentrate, you can make 3 bottles of all-purpose cleaner, 3 bottles of bathroom cleaner, 3 bottles of window cleaner, 3 foaming wash bottles, and 64 loads of laundry. That's a lot from 1 concentrate. So when you buy their starter pack, you get all of these bottles included with the concentrate. You can get glass bottles or plastic ones. The way it works is there's a line on each bottle that shows you where to fill up with water, and then you fill up with the concentrate up to the soap line, and then you top it off with water afterwards. I've always thought it was so strange to have different cleaners for different areas of the house. Like, shouldn't you have a cleaner powerful enough to do it all? And that's what Branch Basics offers. The only difference between these is the amount of soap you're putting in. So like for a bathroom, it's a little dirtier, more concentrate in this bottle than this one. The fact that it's non-toxic and fragrance-free is really important to me because as much as I try and keep cleaning products out of the reach of children, as you should do, I still know that after I'm spraying down a surface, my kids are gonna come along, wipe their hands on it, and put their hands in their mouth. So indirectly, they're still getting contact with cleaning products. I can rest easy knowing that they're not ingesting harsh chemicals and their hormones aren't being attacked by endocrine disrupting chemicals. I know price is a big factor for myself as well as a lot of you. So after you get the starter pack, you just have to repurchase the concentrate to refill all your bottles. And the price breakdown is remarkably only $3.25 to refill your all-purpose cleaner and 27 cents per load of laundry. And I just think that's phenomenal for a product that's eco-friendly, family-friendly. Like, you normally don't get such good prices for such high quality products. The starter pack does also come with their oxygen boost, which is great for cleaning toilets, burnt pots, laundry, shoes. I like to throw it in to my laundry whenever I'm washing whites to brighten them up. I've also used this to take out dried blood stains in clothes. So this is powerful stuff while still being natural and non-toxic. They do also have dishwasher tablets, which are 100% plastic free, one of the few dishwasher tablets on the market that don't have plastic in them. So if you're interested in trying out Branch Basics, you can head to their website and use code Embers and Ash for 15% off your first kit. That's excluding the trial kit. Be sure to let me know how you feel about it because I think this is my holy grail cleaning kit. Like, I don't need anything else. Thanks so much to Branch Basics for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get into why I didn't like being a mom. I really thought I wasn't going to film today because Rook is having a really hard time. But then I figured this is maybe the best situation to be in for the video topic. So Rook is on a 1 nap a day schedule, and recently he's been refusing that 1 nap, and that's really stressful because I only get that time to film. I do remember everything feeling like world shattering whenever something like this would happen. It's like, okay, that's the end of it all. Like, that's the end of my freedom. He's not napping anymore. And I just find that funny because I've grown into a mom who's able to adapt a lot better. And they do say that, like, the longer you mother, the better you get at it. It's not something that you can just, like, start up and, you know, be great at necessarily. Things usually take work to get better at. Yeah, like if Finn stops taking his nap for a while, sure, that would be bothersome, but I look very sad here. I am very sad here. I never grew up maternal. I never babysat any kids. I never thought much about children. When Josh and I started dating, we even brought up potentially not having kids. When I was in school, like high school and college, I was very ambitious. I had all these dreams about the career I wanted to have, all the things I wanted to accomplish in my life, and that stuff shifted. And I'm not mad about that. I'm not upset that I'm not some like big scientist or anything like I thought I would be. I am happy like with the path I chose, but going from being quite an ambitious, independent person to caring or answering to every need that a child has is pretty hard to handle. It's interesting, like I said, I grew up very ambitious. I guess maybe not crazy ambitious. I was a normal student, but I wanted to study science. I wanted to get into research, yada yada, be an independent woman, all that. And I had a bad experience in corporate life, left that, did enjoy my next job I had, but after I got married, the hormones in me just told me it's time to become a mother. And so it's almost like my body was telling me something that my mind wasn't aligning with, and I was really ready for it, but I took a very like analytical approach to it. Like I can crack this, like I can figure it out. And that worked really well for the first year when I had a really easy baby and I adapted him to my life. But the second he started throwing curveballs and I couldn't follow my plan, and it just really threw me off and I felt helpless. So yeah, besides like COVID interfering, it was pretty chill. Like I got to still be the person I wanted to be. I did a lot of work on my business, and I was thriving. I really liked it. That was so nice, having so much time to work. That's one thing that I do not enjoy fully about having young kids. Is just like trying to fit in the time slots to work is always so stressful and like a gamble each week if I'm gonna make it. Yeah, it would be so nice to just be like, every day I get to work these hours, but whatever. I also just saw so many moms online, not all of them, there's a lot of moms online who like share real motherhood, but I saw a lot of them who have like so many kids and are like so happy. And not to say that they're lying about it, but I think maybe sometimes they hide some of the hardships that come with having a lot of kids or just kids in general. While some of them may be hiding hardships, I do now think some people just enjoy it more than me. You know, they see past the hard parts and get more fulfillment out of the rest of it. Whereas I was feeling just like mostly hard parts. I also, you can tell how tired and sad I am in this video, but I was going through a lot of stress. A lot of stress at this time, besides just Rook being a difficult, no, he wasn't even being difficult, he was just being a 1-year-old. And so much had changed in such a short period of time, I didn't know what the culprit was for my unhappiness, that I figured it must be being a mother because that was in my face every day, I guess. But, and again, I don't want to get into it because it's like personal stuff, but I had never experienced stress like that. My whole world felt like it was being rocked. And I just feel like prior to that, I was living easy. And now going through it a second time with Finn, you know, it is different having two rather than one, but Finn being now at the age that I was really struggling with Rook is so interesting because I feel like it's so not a problem. So I wonder if some moms who watched this were like, I have a 1-year-old and it's fine. I know of some moms who are like, the age 1 is my favorite because they're so like, they're starting to become little people. But so now experiencing it with Finn in a more calm environment, not the same stresses going on in life, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is fine. Like one factor being I already have a baby-proof house because I've already been through this before and we already, you know, built the house to be baby safe, is a huge factor because it's just something I don't have to worry about. Whereas with Rook, I felt like I was always chasing him around, keeping him safe because the house in a lot of ways wasn't safe. Yeah, it's just so different how those outside issues impacted my experience of motherhood so much. Josh and I decided to have children. We thought like, oh, maybe we'll have 4. And maybe, I say this all the time, maybe we'll still have 4, but right now that sounds so scary. In this economy, 4 children, do you think? I always say to Josh, like, because he'll casually bring up having another kid. And I'm like, how about we wait for our lives to tell us that it's time? Not as, oh my gosh, do not get me wrong, I don't want a 3rd kid. But like, if it were to ever happen, we would need it to be like everything in our life is telling us that it's time to have a 3rd. Besides the point. Because I feel like I only have so much independence left that the more kids I add on, the smaller and smaller that's going to get, right? I don't think that's true at all. I feel like, and I only have 2 kids. I hear once you have a 3rd, it gets crazy. But you learn how to manage your time better the longer you're a mom. You, I guess, lower your expectations of what your life is going to be like. So you get more excited about those small moments of freedom. So I guess that's not helping the point. But also, now that I have 2 kids, they play together. So I have more freedom now with 2 than I did with 1. But, you know, I was just speaking from my experience. So what is it about being a mom that I don't like? Because I really thought I would thrive in it. There's a couple things I didn't really expect. For one, I've already touched on it, but I didn't expect that the transition to toddlerhood would be so much more difficult. Like, I always heard that toddlers were hard, but I've also heard that babies are hard, and we had a really good time in those baby months. And the toddler years are, it hasn't even been a year yet, but toddlers are a whole new ballgame. And they just require so much more of you. And what's up? Do you want your sleep sack off? And I don't want it to come off as selfish because I don't think it is, but it's hard when you can't follow your own dreams and ambitions because you have a child that needs a lot from you. Again, it's so interesting how different my experience was this time versus last. The first year of Finn's life, I found difficult, I guess, just in that, you know, you're on the newborn schedule, they have a lot of needs. Now that he's 1, I feel like I'm doing way better because he's on the same playing field as Rook. So instead of like caring for a baby and a toddler, I'm caring for like 2 toddlers. And I feel like I have more time for my business now because I'm not dealing with night wakings and all those things. So yeah, it's just so wild how different every mother's experience is and how different each child's experience is. That's one of the biggest things I struggle with is I have things that I would love to do and I know that's all not possible right now. I really think this is because I was, all those external factors, but also I was going from working so much, having so much freedom, going shopping whenever I wanted, working many hours during the day, going seeing friends and bringing the kid along and just setting up a pack and play to sleep. Like, I really was living my life as if I just had a pet, not so much a child. And then all of a sudden, he had lots of needs for me. With a lot of those freedoms being taken away, I also have turned into a homebody, which I didn't expect for myself. And I don't know how much of that is from motherhood and how much is from the pandemic, because we've all been forced to stay home a lot. Not so much anymore, but I still have created habits that now lead to that. And it really does affect me. The whole homebody thing is interesting. I think a lot of us experience this confusion from the pandemic, where it's like, am I just used to being at home now because of the pandemic, or is this just who I've grown into? Good question. I definitely have gotten a lot more used to being home a lot, as a lot of us stay-at-home moms probably have to go through. I used to be the kind of person where if I was home all day, like all morning, all night, I would feel like garbage. And that's a lot of my days. Not all of them. I do try and get out at least once a day. It helps break up the day. I do have scheduled things in the evenings often, which help a lot. But I definitely stay home a lot more than I used to. And I think the whole pandemic effect of that has worn off. And now it's more just, that's life as a stay-at-home mom, because you're staying at home. But I'm not one to just like be a busybody at home and like, I like having a clean house, but I'd rather just not be home so it stays clean rather than being home and having to clean it all the time. Truth, I would love to not clean my home, but who likes cleaning? I'm sure some people do. I don't think a lot of us love it. I still don't really feel like much of a homemaker, but boy, have I ever made progress. Like, I, the other day, made soup from scratch without a recipe. So proud of myself. It's just like, the longer I'm doing this, the more it makes sense to learn these skills, as much as I don't love it. It is what it is. The other day, we were making pizza for dinner, and Josh asked me to start the dough for him. I did it. I almost ripped my hair out. I was so frustrated. And a lot of that just comes from, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sure if I learned the skill, I would enjoy it more. But yeah, I have improved since this video. Just, if I had a choice, I would have a chef and a cleaner. I have to feed a child 3 times a day. That's so much work for someone who hates it. Let alone like feeding myself. Feeding a child, 2 children, 3 times a day is still like one of my least favorite things about motherhood. To an extent. Like, cleaning poop off the rug is probably my least favorite thing. But I don't like feeding the kids. I am very excited for when I get to put our children into school and get some free time to myself. I really just need things that are my own, and it's really hard to get that when you have a child. I was like holding on to the hope for school. That's what was getting me through days, is like, once the children are in school, I'll have freedom again, as if my life would only be like this for 5 years. Only chasing a little tornado around all day and having 0 freedoms to myself. Like, I just couldn't see past the stage I was in. So like, that's my dream, and it's not to say that I hate spending time with my children. I just need that balance of both. Like, I don't thrive off of being that full-time support for my child. 100%. And I've talked about this a lot too, but I've really found a balance in motherhood lately where I have my time away, I have my hobbies, I have my physical activity, and my time with, and my time to work. And as long as those boxes, my other boxes, are checked off, then my motherhood box, I'm like so ready to tackle. But it's taken a long time for me to find this balance, and I'm sure it's going to be ever changing as the kids grow and have different needs. Oh, that's the thing. Okay, I wanted to talk about how, like, it's still worth it. Like, I don't want to discourage you from having kids. And that's kind of what I wanted to lead this conversation into, is that, like, as hard as it is and as many sacrifices as I've made, as you've made, there's still so many reasons to be thankful for it. Oh my gosh, he keeps almost hurting himself. Yeah, that's your arm. And the reason it's so confusing is that you have like the highest highs in your life and the lowest lows. I was very confused, as you can tell. I didn't know what I wanted because, like I'm saying, there's really like special, amazing moments in motherhood, but the lows were really dragging me down. So I didn't want to end the video off without talking about the highs, but I obviously was really like having a hard time during this, so I don't know how believable the highs were, but I mean, I still loved a lot of the things about having that stage with Rook. Just, I think I would have done really well if I was working full-time out of the house and getting that break. But also, I wanted to be there for my and I want to be there for my kids now. So it's just like a sacrifice that really felt like a heavy sacrifice at the time. But children bring such a spark of joy to the mundane in your life. It's so special seeing them grow and learn. And oh, that's such a good point. The spark to the mundane. Love it. Every little thing can be made so special with your children, especially like holidays. Like, who cares about Halloween if you don't have children? Christmas gets a little dull after a couple years of not having children, like married life without children. Yeah, they make life so fun. But at the same time, it's balanced out with the lowest lows, like the complete exhaustion, no breaks. Like, if you just need a second, sometimes you don't get that. Like, not getting basic needs like brushing your teeth or taking a shower or getting to eat your meal without someone yelling at you that they want to bite. It can be very, very draining. I think, again, just another part of it is like, I'm used to those things now. I'm used to not being able to finish my coffee before it goes cold. I'm used to, you know, eating my food on the run and not getting to shower whenever I want. And I don't know if that sounds sad to you if you're not a parent, but like, that's just my life now. And I have other perks to make up for those drawbacks. You know, I have a schedule that works for me. I shower when Josh is home. It's fine. I loved mothering a baby. This is just a lot more work. But I feel like, or I'm very certain, once the kids are older, specifically when they're adults, I think I'm going to be so grateful that I did this and that I got through all the tough times. Even I'm sure, like, as teenagers or children, like, depending on the kind of child you have and how you raise them, I guess. I've talked to some parents who are like, the teenage years are the best years because they're independent. You get to see them form into who they actually are going to be in their life, and you kind of let them go in hopes that what you've taught them will stick, and that freedom and seeing them succeed in that freedom is the most rewarding thing. I may eat my words by saying this, but I feel like I'm going to love the teenage years. Obviously they're going to be hard, but already just with like seeing Rook get older and become more of a person, and I can have more complex conversations with him, we can play more complex games. I'm just loving him being, again, a real person. So yeah, this does definitely feel like short-term sacrifice, long-term gain. You know, it's a few years of the chaos, and then we have these beautiful kids for the rest of our life, hopefully. It's just scary for me thinking that I have a lot of years to go before I can get myself back in a way, that I get to pursue the things that I want. I feel like I've already gotten myself back. I don't really like that term because it's like, do I want to go back to being a 23-year-old? No. But I have hobbies again. I have friends. I get my work done. Like, it is a very unstable balance, don't get me wrong. Like, one thing doesn't go right and the thing kind of crumbles, but I do feel like I'm getting the best of all worlds right now, where I get to mother full-time, except a couple hours of preschool a week. I get to work, I get to have hobbies, I have a loving husband. Yeah, and it's just sad that, again, I was just so like narrow in that stage that I couldn't see past it. And that lasted a long while, and it led right into being pregnant with my second, which I was really scared for. Like, I think it was the month after this that I found out I was pregnant. And so it really has felt like quite a few years of struggle and not knowing what the problem was. So I couldn't really find a solution. But I guess in conclusion, I love being a mom. I just need to find the way of mothering that works for me, because it's not the same as, not all moms, but like a lot of the moms I saw online leading into it. Like, I need to be my own person still, have my own identity, and also care for these children. And I'm really happy doing so. Yeah, so, you know, it's a sad video. I'm glad I put it out because I'm sure there's other moms who have been there or are currently in it and need that validation. Do I want to go back to that stage? Absolutely not. That was a really stressful time of life, but I made it through and learned a lot from it. I feel like I've grown up so much in the past few years. I actually feel like an adult now, which isn't like a flex. It's sad in some ways. But yeah, I'm really happy with our choices we've made with our kids, and having them close in age has been really fun. It's just, you know, hard to get through sometimes, but I want to leave off with this being an encouragement. If you're in a really hard stage of motherhood, it's probably going to pass and you're probably going to be better off for it. Learn some life lessons and, yeah, and move on to something that maybe is more enjoyable for you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.